Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm your host, Stephen Topham the third, at your service. Now we're going to be talking about this seriously because we all have to talk about it seriously. Right, refreshing of understanding, which is true. A lot of you now got the real facts coming through, which may have put you at risk or understanding what's unfolding, what's true, what's logic, what's everything unfold. I said a lot of people in their time I've been watched, safeguarded, if you will. Right? Family protects family. That's true. Teamwork makes the dream work, which is true. But there's a lot more to it than just that on top. All right? When we talk about my Hatt family tree, which is true, things always come back to me. Right? I can't lie to no one. Right? Everybody knows that I've been honest, truthful, and straightforward. Right? I get there are a lot of people that don't know what the exact shit is happening. Right? I get that. But to put everybody at ease, you have to understand what is unfolding in front of you. Right? Last night I had to do a 2 hour podcast to put the album in its place. Right? I get that I may be putting a little bit of a red flag on the tie side for obvious reasons, but that's not the problem here. The problem is what you got what you need, but you don't know how to use me to gain what you need and respect, right? My family is getting that respect, right? We get that, right? When it all comes down, let me just do this properly for the books. A lot of people don't know what they got until they lose it, right? I get that, right? A lot of people understand that. So does the taxi drivers. So do everybody else. Right? You can't blame it live because there's no way to come out of this one. Right? The facts were put in front of you from day one you were born. Raised, you're learning about it, you're learning about my family, you learn about everything. Of course, it's what the you then ask yourself why it's unfolded the way it is. Right? You got to be realistic, yes, but then you got to be understanding on this. A lot of refreshing of understanding. There's a lot more than what you see. Right? A lot of people can't connect the dots as well as I could. Right? I know what to aim for, what to get through, how to politely do it honestly, respectfully, and kindly. Right? I'm like I stated in the last podcast, I'm about to go on holiday, right? Which then what happens is things will unfold naturally, right? I get people are a little bit curious to work out why a lot of things unfolded in front of your eyes without realizing it. Now, let me give you an example, right? You know about my Hatt family, right? Okay, it's third generation. We're not second gen, we're not first gen, we're third gen, right? Then you have to get into realistic mode, right? You know my father, you know my mother in real life, of course, now, to a point. Charles Topham had the second, and my mother had me, Bump's your uncle. Then you're asking yourself, where's these three kids coming into play? Right, we all know there's only two. Right, one is my son and one is my granddaughter. Fact. One is actually a safeguard. Right? You have to be realistic. People don't know what they got until they lose it, right? I get that. But there are things that are unfolded in truth without you not realizing what you got. And then you're going to say, shit, shit, shit. I said, look, the Albion has become a hot spot for trouble at the moment. Right? I'm not going to go into deep detail because I know what people are doing in there without me not being in it. Right? A lot of people don't have the facts completely in their heads yet. They don't realise why I am here. Why? It's realistic, yes. Somewhere down the line of my chain, which is not going to be broken because I'll make sure it won't. Right? There's a reason for that. It's logic and it's fact and it's truth. Right? You can't change what's been unfolding gently. Right? You can't rush it because you're going to be boom boom out. Right? A lot of people know things they're picking up on, but they have to watch the whole bloody lot to gain the information and understand what's unfolded, what is achieved, what's been put right, what's done right, everything else. Right? By me going on holiday for 4 days, which I stated in the last podcast, right? There are little things around the corner, right? Which is true. There's a switcheroo around this, right? A lot of people cannot see what's unfolded the last time, right? Can you remember the time? I'm going to make this a story because it's actually a true story. I would never lie about it. It's not like Journey Beyond Sodor and everybody else like that. This is Digs and Discovery. Bing bada boom. Right? Then you got King of the Railway on top of that. That's two movies for the price of one. Right? In the same place. We don't, when the movie or the series is done in separate modes, we are, all of it is in separate places. 3, 4, 5. There's only about 3 places. Right? Suffolk, Cambridgeshire, Norfolk. Connect, connect, connect. Right? We're putting all the right pieces in for all of you. Don't screw up, because you'd be like saying, what the fuck's going wrong here? Then you ended up saying, where's Richard? Where's Emily Helen Hatt? Then it goes down to Alex Taylor. Or Adam Taylor, I will say correctly. But that's true. You know, you're asking how did that backtrack? Got that in my head and all. Right, then people ask, why? You see, there's a lot of things that a lot of people can't recognise or see the signs of. Why? There are people around my life, during my lifetime, as a child, as an adult, everything. People didn't pick it up until certain people said, right, oh shit. Right? When it all comes to light to you in realistic form, you don't screw it up. Because what you're doing is then basically you're putting the bad facts into the book that people are going to read in the fourth generation and the fifth. But because I'm doing the cheeky, but not cocky or rude or selfishness or anything, I've been really useful in saying this is what needs to happen because it has to. Right? It's a needy, not a wanty. But then when people think this is all a joke, I said, no, it isn't. You got the iron Sodor. I get that, right? So do I. Upside down. Ding, ding, ding. Right? I get that. Reverse psychology. Right? When it unfolds in front of you, you can't argue with facts or the truth. Right? A lot of people just think this is all like balmy. I said, no, it isn't. People are complaining about it in the Amazon, in the Albion, but they can't do nothing about it because it's realistic. You know, the actions you do may have consequences, right? Which makes me jump in and say, I'll rectify it. Why? Because I have to. And say, what's at stake? Let me give you an example, right? We all know my family tree that's ahead of you, right? You know Adam, you see Adam Taylor at the end, but then you got to work backwards to work out where's the connection on that. But you got to go through my family first, which is my son Richard and Emily Helen Hatt, my granddaughter. Right? The other bond is a safeguard. Always have been, right? People are pointing me in the right direction. Right? You're telling them they're assholes, pricks, and all that shit. Don't bother. Because they always say, ding, ralla, boom. Right? I get there are a lot of facts are coming out which you don't realise. I said, did you know why I was setting goal? Right? My grandfather safeguarded me. Then my other grandfather set up and had to first put a safeguard on me. Why? He didn't want the accident to happen again. Strike two. And then all of you at the Albion are getting a strike free saying you're out because you're bloody not got realised to realise the facts. It's all logic, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you've basically got the bad egg in there. Someone that's got a big mouth. Not me personally, but directly the, my, the way I dress, the way I suit up, booted up, everything else for everybody. It's not just about you. It's about 8 billion people as well. It's not just about one user or one person. Right? We're all connected. Right? Private connections everywhere in the Norfolk area and all that. It's all connected. Right? But when you want something bad enough, don't cry wolf when it goes wrong. Because I warned you for nearly 2 hours last night just to get your heads in gear, wake up and smell of coffee. Right? We all knew that refreshing of understanding and love and care and all of that. But you have to take what is given to you on a plate right now. But you see, when it comes to family friend connection, usually it's a connection that gets hooked up. Right? It goes the other way round, not the friend. The friend becomes the connection later. So then that becomes a ding dang boom. People know about it, but they can't say it out loud. Right? There are a lot of people that I know personally should know when to keep their mouth shut. Right? That's without mentioning names, right? People know what's meant to unfold, but now you got this big problem over your head to say, what can we do about it now? You basically screwed up what was meant to unfold, right? We always take Thomas and the Magic Railroad that came through, right, in 2000. Now add 24 years to it. It all adds up. So when you're getting the truth as a logic and fact on top, where do you stand? I'm going on holiday for 4 days, and then the lady will get damaged, yes, and you'll be the ones that be fucked up in the end. No offense for swearing, but it's the truth. You, the taxi drivers know about this. It's the truth, it's logic and fact, but I will come back and re-correct the bloody problem before it gets worse. Right? There are a lot of things that a lot of people do to get what they need, not want, but then people have to add it up here, you see. You see, when you got what you needed, you've gone down 3 generations of my family. Don't get me wrong, facts always prove the truth in the end, right? We understand there is things that have to unfold naturally to get things going again, right? I don't want to unlock one of my backwards to go forward again job. Why? Because in the day, a lot of you know about railway keys themselves, right? We get railway keys when we are on the railway trade, all of that. It runs in the family. It goes with the family, reverses, go forward, go reverse, go forward, forward, reverse, reverse, forward, forward, reverse, bang. Why? Let me give you an example, right? Sometimes to get the hats back in place, you have to do the reverse to go forward. Right? That's fact. But you got me, but now I've got to do the pattern again. Safeguards in place. So you can't stop me from doing the job I was meant to do. Don't get me wrong. But when people are not informed about a lot of stuff, don't get me wrong, a lot of people got mouths that want to open up. Gently. Right? I understand you are hesitating to find out why he knows so much. I said, did you ever know that I already cracked the puzzle all the way through? It's not easy, don't get me wrong. I know who Lady Hatt is and everything else and the kids as well. Then you got the connection at the bottom, which is Adam Taylor, bumps your uncle. Right? I know what needs to be done. But you're not making my life that easy to do it. Alright? I've spoken to Doggy Hat this morning. She said, let it play out for 4 days and see what disaster come out of their way. When they see something unfold, naturally unfold, have you noticed the way it's unfolded in front of you? There's things around you you can't see, right? There's things that, that I can explain with the heartbeat, right? I'm giving you everything you want on a plate, but you need to do something in return to help the the new facts go in properly. You don't want the bad facts in because they will ask what fucking went wrong. This will be the fourth generation and the fifth generation. Why the hats never returned for the fourth or the fifth? Then they will start moaning, complaining, and everything else. We know it's my son and my granddaughter, but then you got what's the connection here? You see, my family has reverse psychology, which is not common around this job. Right? I speak Southern, yes. I speak like the Fat Man and Thomas the Tank rolled into one. Right? When people believe it, they will see it. Right? I get it. But the refreshing of understanding of what you're getting, it's not easy as one, two, three. I said people could talk about it, right? But they have to be sensible about it and knowing why this guy has to unfold this job. I said if it doesn't get unfolded correctly, you'd be bloody dead and gone because you're ending up with something you shouldn't have. I know what the consequences will be if I don't do it correctly, right? Strike one. Two, it always relates to family, right? So it's going family protects family, right? Then it goes back even further, then it adds up, right? You can't argue with facts that are already put in front of you, right? When people think this is a laughing joke, I said there's 85 people plus that know what is unfolding, right? My family, my mother and Duck, know what's unfolding. I can't give them all my private details or the puzzle that's completed in my head because I worked it all out. You see, when things come to light, I know a lot of people understand it a lot more clearly when you're free fresh in the morning or having a cup of tea or coffee, and that wakes you up and it gets you going. And the people are then criticizing why. You know, a lot of people saw the magic unfold, don't get me wrong, but they couldn't piece it up here to begin with. Now, you have to work out, did we destroy the next generation of the hats? That's your bloody question I'm giving to you. And the answer will be like saying the question markers on your heads. All of it. Why? I get it. I know what's meant to unfold, but don't blame me. Right? When things unfold correctly for you, don't cry wolf when it comes back to one individual in particular. Right? I get it. At this moment, it's not the right time. Right? You blab it off in the pub, I'll make sure you're out of the building. Right? It's not about winning or losing or hitting out. It's about the facts put in front of you. Right? When you know something or unfold, see it unfold gently, let it play out. Right? I keep telling you all the time. I'm reminding you all the time. People know about it, but they can't say too much. It's hard for a lot of safeguards and private connections and so forth. They try to uphold, say, look, it's true. Back off. That's what they will say. It's true. If you don't like the truth, because a lot of people, right, it's like at 1912, everybody that been told the truth saying the ship was unsinkable, as like a Titanic, for example. It sunk. Why? Rivets were old, overheated. Bang! Then the then the then the plates start to come off. Bang, 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 bang. Then they sunk all the ship down at the front. Bang, and split the ship in two. So you can see why I'm not a liar, right? There's a lot of facts in my family that know a lot of things and more than one. But then you've got to be realistic, right? When things are given to you on a plate, you accept what is given to you. But at the same time, you have to let everything unfold naturally, like any relationship or status that you're in, right? A lot of people They've worked hard for you. They didn't bullshit with the bush. The reason I say that is because it's true. Right? You want things to go badly wrong? Now is the time. Because now it's time to get serious and realise what can you do to repair the damage. I'm not going to be talking about it like I did last night with the 2 hour podcast. Right? I'm making sure it sticks with a half an hour radius this time. But when you really understand it quite clearly, I said it's all in truth, it's all in logic, and it's all facts. Right? If people read the books, watched the movies, don't fuck up when it's meant to unfold the way it's meant to be unfolded, but not the way you expected, because it's all in a muddle. Muddle go nowhere, bing bing, which ends up with the M&GN with my name on it with a silver platter. Why? Because it goes to L&ER, which then it goes down to my grandfather, Sir Topham the first. Then you got to work forward, and then you get third generation. You fuck my food. Look, let me give you an example. It's like saying to you guys, you fuck up my future, I'm gonna mess yours up too. Why? Because we are connected. Why? When people laugh about this and think it's all a joke, go to bloody hell. Because you're getting the truth. You're not gonna ruin my life, right? Just to make yours better, because it won't work that way. We are connected, right? It's by choice of my grandfather, Sir Topham the first, and everything else. All my family had to do was play it out. We didn't do nothing wrong. We didn't actually make anybody confused and do confused.com. Right? You're getting the truth, you're getting the logic, and you get the facts from me. Right? You just can't see it. Well, that's your loss. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you're losing your life in the process. I said, what will happen is your kids will grow up not realizing what's unfolded. Right? They will wake up when they're 30 and 40 and they're going to go, oh, fuck shit. Here we go again. But then what will happen with my family? They'd be dead and gone and buried because it was your fault, your accidents, your occurrences. Now, I don't blame the taxi drivers and I don't blame the private connections, especially my connections on top, and my friends. Who my true friends are, that's different of way it unfolds in front of you. Right? I worked hard as much as I can with you guys. At this moment, you got a lot to learn. Respect is another. Honesty is another. But you got to be truthful as well. You got none of that, you can't go nowhere. Then you got to have to be honest with people. Right? Honesty is normally the best policy. I get that. But when it all goes forward, it adds up. My family doesn't have the luxury like you do. I get that. You're jealous, you're upset and pissed off. Right? I get that. But you don't want it to over exceed your minds and realise, oh, shit. Right? A lot of my friends and connections and so forth know about this. This is why they're not ringing me up, texting me, emailing me, or anything like that. Right? In the day, you're getting the truth. My connections and sharing them already know about this. Even my private connections and sharing them as well. Don't even bother them because they already know what's supposed to unfold. Right? I'm not going to bullshit. Right? Basically, a lot of people know things you should know. But the thing is, it's only for certain bloodliners. When people know things, they don't say it out loud in public. Right? I don't want these rumours going on, which is true. You're basically being honest, but then you got to work it out yourself and keep it in your head. When it all goes through your head, it makes a puzzle for you in your head. Then you die with it, obviously. Then you keep it a secret and not reveal it to anyone. Right? But there's people in the real world now that don't realise what the fuck is going on here. Right? It's all eventually going to unfold in one way or other in some format. But you have to be honest. with everybody, not just myself. If you have a problem, come to me directly, because I'll always be honest with you. But when you want something bad enough, get the honesty on the plate. If you're not quite sure what's unfolding, people may not understand what's unfolded, right? People do know what's unfolded, but they can't say it out loud. You know, when I know certain things, right, it's because I've been told by private connections, not just friends. Right? I get where you're coming from. You're thinking, what shit? What did we do wrong? I said, look, did you ever realise what's on the line on at the moment? I'm the only one that can see through what your mistakes are, your doings, your actions, your consequences, and it all adds up. So when you want something on a plate, you can blame, don't blame me. My hand, talk to the hand. Why? Because I've been honest with you. Right? Because I'm not going to be bullshitting with you. Right? If you're not quite sure, Wild Norester has been telling you this for nearly 3 or 4 or 5 years by now, or 10 years at least, less than that actually, and it all adds up. He's been telling you, right? And then you add in it with the Thomas Tank story on top, and the movies that goes in coordination. Then you're asking, why? Why was it written ahead of schedule? So we had time to progress slowly, not in a rush. We're not rushing it, and we're not bloody dark. We're not going to put ourselves in a difficult position, right? With refreshing of understanding is a good title for this podcast, but it makes people see sense. I said people respect me for a reason, but you got to work out why. Just ask yourself the biggest question: where's Richard? Where's Emily? Then you got to add those two in because they're my son and my granddaughter. The other one is a safeguard. So it's all in truth, but what you're seeing is what's unfolded. But it's not unfolded yet. So you're screwing my family up, messing the connection up that I had. That's all set in motion for everybody. I said, Wild Norester will tell you the truth. So if you don't follow his timeline, you're going to get screwed. And then people will ask why. Why is Stephen Topham Hatt the third doing this and doing that and doing this in the Albion? Work it out. It's all there, black and damn white. Right? It's all there in black and white, and people couldn't work it out in the first place. Right? I do not need people bugging people. Right? I get people need to understand these things so they're not scared at the end. Fair needs to something, right? So it does hope. But you need to think of hope to go forward. But then you've got to work out why. People know these things, but they can't say it out loud because it's a real life event in the end. But you've got to really understand if the island is real and we are real, what the fuck else going on then? Then you ask me, why does he talk like that? Get it in your thick head. I'm a Southern. I speak this language because I was born and bred with it. Right? You can't argue that, could you? When the arguments have been fought and then debates, rumour, whatever has been said in the pub, maybe they were offended at the point, but it's all bloody damn true in the end. So work backwards and go forward, and it will all add up. And then you realise why everything's reversed for me. It's not a game, it's not a chase, it's not a race, it's just taking it easy in my stride to get you a heads up that you're going to end up with a big bang in the trouble. Right? I've been providing you with a lot of realistic stories, not a children's game anymore. Thank you very much. In every angle.